On Views and Motions with Prime Reporters, Mercy Emelite speaks with Honorable Ikenna Elezieanya. Honorable Elezieanya represents Owerri Municipal, Owerri North, Owerri West of Imo State. He spoke on need to investigate the alleged disappearance of transit buses provided by the federal government for transport services within the Federal Capital Territory. Honorable Ikenna Elezieanya spoke extensively on the pains the civil servant and the middle class pass through and the need for Nigerians to handle government properties like private properties.
My name is Engineer Ikenna Elezieanya, FNSE. I represent the good people of Owerri Municipal, Owerri North, and Owerri West Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. My motion is a need to investigate the disappearance of the transit buses provided by the federal government for transport services within the Federal Capital Territory. The House knows that the provision of long buses in Abuja, apart from creating jobs and generating revenue, is targeted at alleviating the sufferings of the citizens, as it was designed to ease the commuting challenges of civil and public servants to and from their offices to ensure effective discharge of their duties. Also notes that between 2003 and 2007, 5,000 buses were provided by the government to assist and complement the efforts of the government workers in accessing various offices within the Federal Capital Territory. Further notes that between 2010 and 2014, the federal government, in a bid to effectively improve public service delivery in line with global best practices, provided an additional 5,000 buses for the transportation of civil servants. Consigned that all the buses amounting to 10,000 provided by the government are gradually disappearing from the roads and are not being effectively managed by the FCT administration, and as such, not achieving its core objective, which is alleviating the transport challenges of the masses, especially in these trying times. Also consigned that the citizens who are denied these services are daily faced with the risk of riding in commercial vehicles operated by kidnappers, armed robbers, and bandits. Cognizant of the need to recover the buses and make them operational to serve the core objectives for which they are provided, the House resolves as follows: to mandate the Committee on the Federal Capital Territory to investigate the alleged disappearance of transit buses provided by the federal government for transport services within the Federal Capital Territory, to recover them. Each day I drive out of this place and see the number of commuters waiting for buses to travel to go home. I weep. Sometimes they stay there for till 9 o'clock, 8, 10 o'clock each day. Drive down to the Federal Secretariat. You see the number of people waiting. Sometimes you see them entering one chance buses or cars that are not even taxis. In just some months ago or 2 months ago, you heard of one of our journalists here in the house here, how he disappeared, and is it for Vanguard reporter here, how he lost his life. He didn't go, he joined a taxi. Today, you see civil servants, sometimes they don't even come to work early because of lack of these buses. And I know the federal government had good intention of providing those buses. And today, you can't find them. Very few of them you see on the road today. So I keep asking, where are those buses? Are they all broken down? If not, what is the problem?
It is not one or two. There are over 10,000 of them. You see the whole thing today in Nigeria. The economy is biting so hard. And imagine the civil servants and the public servants today. If these things, the aim of government is not to provide cheap transportation for them. But today, I think that aim is defeated. So my aim of this project, this motion, is to see how we can bring back those old memories, where the whole street of Abuja, you have the green buses, long transit buses, flying every nook and cranny of this town, and making sure that we can help alleviate the suffering of our teaming supporters and our brothers and sisters who can afford to pay for all these boats and Uber. And that is why those buses were provided. Thank you very much, Nadia.
All right, sir. You mentioned on the past if they've all broken down. Now, did federal government made any provision available in maintenance of these transport vehicles?
That is what we need to find out. Okay. If buses are provided by federal government and there is no provision for the maintenance or workshop, that will be a problem. But these buses were handed to a structured organization like FCT that are supposed to have garages everywhere. And I believe we have competent staffs who are trained to maintain those buses. So if they fail in that operation of the maintenance of these things, then questions must be asked. What is the problem? Who are the people responsible? A lot of insinuations, a lot of hearsay. I don't want to believe those things. We've been hearing that some of them have been sold, some of them have been sold in parts and all these things. So I don't want to believe that. That is why I'm saying, invite them, let them investigate, and audit. It's not only when you investigate and you audit, proper audit to be carried out, to know how many of them. I'm not saying that all of them must be in good condition, but let us see how many that are functional. The functional ones, why are they not plying the routes? And we must do something. We must do something to alleviate the suffering of the masses of this country. It's very, very important. Today, this motion was for last 2 weeks. That time we had fuel scarcity. That was the main aim of this motion. That was why I brought up this motion. But you know now, I'm not the only one in this house. We are 360 members. Everybody trying to make sure that his own bill or motion is being heard. So today I was opportune that today was the time. Today my own was scheduled for hearing. So I thank the leadership too for actually scheduling it. So, but the truth about it is that the main aim is workers, the public servants, and the unemployed in our society who can afford the Ubers and the boats of our day today. That is the aim, the masses. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. What is your intention if these boxes are being recovered?
My intention, and is the intention of the public, is making sure that the fares are brought low. You know, the truth about this is that when the buses are all available, my intention is that our workers will be able to wake up early to join these buses to come to the offices, one, early enough, and we have more productive time. Sometimes if you meet somebody, you tell him how many hours it took me to come to work. It's not easy. Before I came out here, since how many hours waiting for bus or to transport to come to the office. You see? So excuses, because there are few buses. If somebody that takes home 30,000 or 40,000 or thereabout or 50,000, there are some people that get that kind of pay below there, and you tell him to every day to take boot, to take what do you call it, Uber. How can he or she cope? So invariably, I'm saying that it will help a lot in alleviating the suffering of the poor masses. It will reduce the costs. It will drastically, it will reduce the cost of transportation in the FCT. Thank you very much.
Okay, Alexa, now let's be hopeful it's going to be recovered and something good would come out of it. So what should Nigerians, especially the civil servants who are most affected by this situation, what should they expect after this?
Like you said, what do they expect? They will expect that when these things, after this investigation, I'm believing that the buses will be made available, they will be happy. At least they will be able to come out of the offices and get buses home. Like like what I told you. If you leave here maybe by 6, 7 o'clock, my dear, go out to that road, on that express. You see the number of civil servants on that Federal Secretariat Road, you can't, it's unimaginable. From 6:30, 7 o'clock. They are there. Some of them, they jump into trucks and all these things to be able to get home. So if these things are done, and my people, we are conscious of it, because it's still the civil servants that will still do this investigation. Because it is not us, the politicians, it's still the civil servants who will do this and do the auditing. So if they want good thing, if they want a better result that come out, they be sincere and tell us what that can be done to revitalize these things, for these things to still come back on stage. That is what I believe. Once these things, these buses come on stream again, you see that they'll be better off. Nigeria will be better off. FCT will be better off. All of us. We enjoy it. Cheap transportation is everywhere in the whole world for public servants. And I'm telling you the truth. Everywhere you have, today we don't have monorails. In other parts of the world, you have the monorails and the buses, and they fly 5 minutes, you are there time. You tell you in the next 10 minutes, you see another one coming in. Another 10 minutes again, or 5 minutes, you see them come. And they are on time. And that is how it is in other climes of the world. So if our buses we have enough for them here in this city, you see that which people will enjoy. It is still civil servants and the public servants. They are the people that will still benefit from all these things we are doing, because are the people we are representing. We are their representative here. We need to do things that will help in reducing the stress they go through each day of their life. That is why they elect us here. That is why I'm here, being elected to represent my people. I'm here to make sure that life is easier for my constituents who are living in the federal capital here. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir, last question on this topic. Since during this period, it has been mismanaged by the people who are supposed to take care of it, is there any governmental body or agency that, when these bodies are being recovered, are to look into it and to make sure that they are being maintained and work adequately?
Thank you very much. It's a very, very good question. And I throw this question back to you and most of the civil servants. The problem we have in this country is taking ownership of anything that is within us to govern or to manage. If we believe, and if these people believe that this is their own, if you believe that this thing, a government property is my own, is for us, most of the things we see in this country, we will not. It won't. Most of these damages and all these rots and decay won't be there. Until Nigeria comes to the realization that we don't have any other country than this country, we will not move forward. Until you and me believe that this is the only country we have, there is no other country. Because you can't tell me why a scheme like that, the mass transit scheme, meant for us, will run it, will ruin it. Because if you give a private sector this, would the thing be ruined this way? That is the truth. Why must he always say that government we don't manage? Governments are not supposed to be managers of corporations and all these things. It is not true. In most of the other parts of the world, is it not government or private, maybe agencies that manage all those things, their transportation system or their transport system? BRT in Lagos, is it not being managed by Lagos state government? Are they not doing well? What we need is the willpower. Because FCT administration, by belief, has a workshop and have people who are in charge of transports in FCT. And if those people that are there are not doing well, they can be changed for us to have competent people. But the problem in Nigeria is when you put a round peg in a square hole, there is no kind of competent people you cannot find in this country. Competent managers you don't have in this country. The problem we have is, are they motivated? Are they encouraged? That is the problem we have in this country. If those people that are managing those in the transport division of FCT are encouraged, they are motivated, I don't see why they cannot generate enough revenue to maintain all those things. Like I said, if they own it up as their own, there is nothing impossible. If they own it up, you see them excelling in those things. But because it's their own, is it my business? Do I care? That is the problem we have in this country. That maintenance culture is lacking in Nigeria, in us, Nigerians. But once we're able to believe and take ownership of everything in this country, you see Nigeria will rise and move forward. And that is my take on this. You cannot import a foreigner to come and do this. It's still Nigerians that will manage these things. So I believe that those Nigerians should be brought in, the square peg in a square hole. And you see us excelling greatly. You see us moving faster and moving steadily. Our growth pattern, you see us increase. Because by now I tell you, my sister, if it is a private individual, by now we should have second or third generation of buses by now, because they make money. The money they make, they will use it to put it together and buy more. And that is the essence of business. We run it as business. We don't run that place as a charitable organization. You don't, because if you do it that way, there is no way we can succeed. We must inculcate the habit that this is business. Government, this thing is business. Once we have that habit that it is a social responsibility, everything, the way we talk about, let me not digress, but because in some of the corporations you ask them, they said it's a charitable. You ask them, how can you tell me that you're not making profit in this place? He says it's government. So government doesn't make profits in their distance. you'll be surprised that in those buses they might not be, they might be operating on loss basis. If you audit them, you see that they're not even making anything. You see that the bozo people that are operating that place are eating the money. And that is the truth. You might see that, when you'll be surprised that everybody prints his tickets. You'll be surprised that they don't even have cells in this thing. This thing needs to be investigated because it's a monumental loss that will have up to how many thousand buses, and you don't have less than 5 or 220 or 100 on the roads. Where the rest? Where the rest? So that calls for this investigation, because this is the federal capital of Nigeria. Since we don't have a monorail in this city, we can have buses that are flying. Thank you very much,
Thank you